Teresa here back again, and what I wanted to talk about now, that like sometimes teams live in a kind of a vacuum, no, and it's not sometimes clear to managers, no, when it comes to looking at incompetence or competence, how there's a kind of a chain reaction, how there's links in the chain, no. For example, other managers and other teams of them can be quite problematic for you. Yeah, so something that you might see as like dysfunction or incompetence can be coming from other managers or their teams. And then it has a chain reaction, no? It links down. Many other managers can have incompetence in certain areas that ends up affecting you and your team's work, your performance, or impacting on your program component or your intervention. For example, if the logistics coordinator or the person responsible for logistics has planning issues, they haven't got good skills in planning, then perhaps your program or operations will suffer because you won't have your things in time, right? So complaining about this person to your boss or to your team is not the right strategy. Complaining doesn't really do much, yeah? It won't change anything. Again, here, the key is it's up to the manager or the boss or the hierarchy of the logistics person to ensure the performance of that person. But sometimes there's incompetence in the chain, right? A lot of managers are aware that somebody's not performing, but they don't want to say anything. This is very typical. So it continues, right? And the person then doesn't even know. Once you've identified a problem, therefore, and you see that it's not being addressed by the person's hierarchy, you must highlight it and ask for what you want in a tactful, delicate way, right? Picking up the phone and ranting about the delays isn't going to do anything. Yeah? Highlighting the problem, highlighting the impact, and asking what you would like to happen is the best way. Delays, for example, first of all, before jumping to conclusions or before assuming incompetence, listen to the person's explanation. And first also make sure nobody on your team has made any errors. Okay, so it's important before you jump to the conclusion that somebody's incompetent or somebody's made a mistake, check first, calm down and see that your team have checked all the boxes, and then ask for an explanation so that you can understand what happened instead of just like getting angry or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes there can be problems as well that are not people, but are more the procedure or process isn't adapted, and it can cause a lot of dysfunction throughout the chain. So sometimes people make recurring errors or there's recurring dysfunction, and often it's because somebody might not know a process or a procedure well enough, or they might make errors in it, or the process or the procedure needs changing. That's often the thing that needs to happen, right? And then what you get is band-aid management that goes up and down the chain, and the dysfunction or the global sense of incompetence continues. Another chain reaction type incompetence or competence issue that can happen is the compositions of teams. Sometimes teams are not put together correctly. You know, they don't work. There's too many of something, not enough another. There's not enough balance of skills, not enough balance of experience. You know, sometimes I've had to manage a whole team that has no experience. That's very difficult because it's just too much, right? Sometimes your boss can be the cause of chain problems in terms of competence and incompetence. When you have a new boss, for example, or the same boss, it's important to observe how they function, what they're good at, what less so, and how that is impacting you and also the other people that they are managing, and how they are interacting with their own hierarchy. Again, not from a binary black and white, competent, incompetent, but look at their emotional intelligence, look at their communication skills, look at how they speak, look at the information they share, look at the questions they ask, right? So the things to look at are the same things I pointed out that are good characteristics of a good manager, right? Good interpersonal skills, good communication, clear prioritization, listening, etc., right? So the same things that you should be working at as a manager, your competencies, your skills, your knowledge about things, are the same things that you should be looking for in your own manager, okay? And then knowing where the person is stronger or weaker in those continuums of skills as a manager is important information, because then you will know how to act and react instead of just getting frustrated. The degree of incompetence in your boss is how many of these kind of deficiencies you observe. The more deficiencies in these areas of skills, the more problems you will have with your boss, the more frustration, and even conflict if you don't know what to do about it. So there are always different ways to manage the different kind of competency issues that your own boss can have, right? So again, we come back to the being smart about seeing more than just incompetence. Will give you different strategies and tactics to be able to deal with the particular one. So say, for example, that your boss is overreacts a lot. Then you knowing that already will help you to analyze why, maybe talk to the person about it, but also control or modify your own way of reacting to his or her overreaction.